Sup, guys. Ryu here for the Yugioh Council. Welcome to coffee time. It's very late when I record this. Um, the whole I can't sleep in Tokyo at the moment, but konnichiwa and greetings from overseas. Wherever you guys are watching this is pretty much, the thing. Anyway, I just like to say thank you to screencasters for today's basically topic. I asked you guys on Facebook if you had ideas. I have an idea. It's a fun idea. I have plenty of ideas, but I always like to hear back from you guys, just like last week's episode was. Well, episode? Video was. That was weird. I just called it an episode, even though it's not an episode. This is how goddamn exhausted I am. To be fair, I am with my brothers in the band, actually touring right now. We're just called the band now, and we're fantastic, but we're just exhausted. But I'm here to record coffee time for you guys, because I've dedicated myself to doing that. So that's why the Lunar Light video got fucked up last night, and I'm sorry, or this morning, or yesterday. I don't know, the time difference is screwing me up. I have a whole chart in front of me that tells me when to upload. God damn it. Anyways, I just like to say thank you to Screencasters. You should check him out. He's one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Tubers right now. I'm dead fucking serious when I say that. And I'm actually glad he gave me this idea, because honestly, I had a great idea. I want to say it was a great idea, but I like his idea a lot better than my own, which is a good thing. But before we get into the benefits and dis-benefits, or as everyone likes to call them, the cons of having a Tier 0 format, I just want to give a quick update. Number one, thank you guys for subscribing to the Pokemon Council. Whoever has been subscribing, thank you so much. Ever since we started talking about Sun and Moon, that has been going great, and I can't wait to see that goddamn thing flourish over the next couple of months, just how the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council did. I kind of feel it's going to happen. Also, for the few of you who have been adding your numbers onto the network, the Council Network, thank you. We're still trying to reformat, like videos besides just doing views, but it's a very challenging situation. I'm not going to go into why. And finally, thank you guys for watching the Dark Souls 3 Let's Play if you did, because that just finished, and today we'll be going back to Uncharted and Doom, kind of like back and forth, and there's going to be a great thing that's happening on RyuAvalonGaming in a few weeks. I can't talk about it just yet. Can say we signed with Full Screen only for the RyuAvalonGaming channel, so that's the only channel besides SuperCouncilGaming that's under an MCN, but to be fair, SuperCouncilGaming is under Nintendo, so it's kind of an MCN. Anyways, that's all besides the point for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. For the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council, I can just tell you this much. Next year, you're going to see a giant change in how we just, how much content we're putting out. And it's going to be more than just Yu-Gi-Oh! I want you guys to know now that regardless of anything, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be on your screen probably once a day at the very least, giving you Yu-Gi-Oh! Content that probably is half-baked, because, I don't know, I suck, apparently. You can't have casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Coffee Time. Grab your coffee beverage and let's get this shit going. This is your Monday morning discussion video released in, I don't know what time zone you're in, but I'm in the freaking time zone that I should be sleeping in. So, welcome to Coffee Time. Grab that coffee and let's do this. The benefits of having a Tier 0 format and the disadvantages of a Tier 0 format. Thank you, screencasters. Everyone go give him a sub. Anyways, let's get right into this. The benefits are pretty goddamn simple. It makes it very much easier to dive into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Now you probably think to yourself, Ryu, your lack of sleep and your too much coffee is making you go nuts. No, I have been cutting back on the coffee, sleeping more, and drinking water. Lots of water. Tons of water. Which is kind of weird, because I typically don't. I drink more coffee than anything. Besides the point, just to understand, my mindset is not going away. It's actually going in a positive format. The reason I say this here, just like a giant hand, doing its motion, it's pretty much standard. It's the standard thing that you do with a giant hand. I think everyone's getting what I'm getting at there with that, but here's the thing. when you have a tier 0 format where it's just like one deck topping all the time and like one rogue deck, it's very, very easy to side. And it pretty much like dumb downs the game state for competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's not, just listen, don't just dislike, just listen. Basically, what happens is that it comes down to player skill, but it allows new players who previously wouldn't touch competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! To have a jumping, ship like, oh, this is how competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Is. And you learn the ins and outs extremely quickly. And it's much, much more adaptable to dive into than something like the format we have right now with Cosmos and Phantom Knights and Monarchs. Because in the Cosmo, Monarchs, and Phantom Knights, what are people going to do? They're going to go for the cheapest deck or just the one that they like. Like, I'm talking about a new player when I say the cheapest deck. They don't want to spend tons. They got rent to fucking pay, people. They got, bills to pay at the very least. I know I do. You probably do too. Or your parents do. That's not a cheap shot to anyone, just saying. Besides the point, it makes it easier to, like, dive into from that hobby standpoint of it just being more fun to understand. Hey, look, this is why I lost. And it basically puts a skill gap on. Now, if you don't know what skill gap is, I'm not going to use the term Call of Duty. I'm going to use the term MLG, like all the way back to Unreal Tournament, all the way back to Quake, all the way back to Halo, Halo 1, not Halo 5. Halo 5 is pretty damn good, but still. Or Counter-Strike right now, or Overwatch, where basically you have this. Overwatch is a great example, in all honesty. I know I'm taking Yu-Gi-Oh! Into a totally different context, but there's some similarities there that I make that reference from. And the main one is, like, you have this giant pool of characters and you pull it from. That's pretty much Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a bunch of archetypes that you pull it from. These are good, these are fucking bad. Why are these good, why are these bad? Because these don't freaking plus 18 like these over here. But tier 0 has always been its own category where it's like, no, I'm going to take off like a rocket ship, and if you can't keep the fuck up, get the fuck out of here with your giant hand. You go in the corner with that. So it's just kind of one of those things. And you could say, oh, tier 0 formats haven't existed in a while. Dragon Rulers. That's 2012. That's 4 years ago. 4 years prior to that, Dragon Rulers. I'm actually shocked that we didn't get a tier 0 format right now. Or, may happen. May happen, Ryu. Don't be stupid. The year's not over yet. To be fair, unless like Spiral or whatever the hell that like Call of Duty sniper thing that Konami's pulling out of their ass. I think that's actually Spiral. Oh shit, it is. Or the giant like earth monster things that Konami are talking about really like becomes a thing, then we're not going to see a tier 0 format at least for another year. But there are some disadvantages to having tier 0 format, and they're pretty straightforward. You lose a lot of interest because you're playing the same game over and over again. And for some people, that is brilliantly fun. And for some other people, it's boring as shit. For me, it depends on the deck. Like Teledad, I loved during Teledad, mirror matches. They were skilled. They were pretty... At that point, to be fair, Halo 3 was out, and I was just like on a fucking high of MLG hype, 420... Twisted Hat, fucking going the whole 9 yards. To be fair, though, it was a very much different Ryu than it is today. To be fair. I mean, I think back then I cared more about winning, and that's partly why that fueled into it. But the disadvantages, back onto point, I'm getting a little off track there. Disadvantages are very, stale game state. Nothing really changes, nothing evolves. I mean, right now, there's not too much that's changing, to be fair, but when it does change, it's kind of like a little, like, it's like if you go in the kiddie pool, and someone just starts, like, moving the water, like, causing a current to go crazy. That's pretty much it. But there's really nothing that, causes a giant wave. God, the anomaly, the things I reference in my videos, I just go back and like, the fuck was I thinking when I said that? But I think that's part of the fun and why I am what I am. But the disadvantages for a lot of, like, it's more for the casual basis, like, oh, that just fucking sucks because my deck can't compete at all. And then you have other people that are just like, I don't want to play this game because my deck can't compete. And I think that gets lost in, a lot of the things because OCG can have, and I have to make this reference, OCG can have a tier 0 format, and most of their players are like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to play whatever the fuck I want. And TCG, it's like, oh, you're not playing the best deck? Get the fuck out of here, you casual scrub. Now, please, don't think that that reflects my opinions on the things. That's just how I view it. I may be incorrect in my viewing, and if I am incorrect and someone can actually disapprove that to me for the TCG, I will retract that statement and actually put it on camera. I will directly say that. However, the TCG, the American side of things, I don't want to put the Europeans. The Europeans are pretty much nicer usually, but the American side, I'm sorry to single you guys out. I'm American too, but it's like they get so toxic about shit, and it's like when you have a tier 0 format, it makes it worse. And I know I'm just bitching about little things about the tier 0 format, but it's just one of those mindsets that needs to fade. Honestly though, I don't really have too many problems with a tier 0 format. I think it's harder for people who just want to come into the game and they just go, fuck this, I'm going to take a sit out from the game. I'm going to look into other games that don't have a tier 0 format. I'm going to look at Vanguard, I'm going to look at Pokemon, I'm going to look at Magic the Gathering. Don't ever look at Magic the Gathering. You'll never be the same. But I don't know how you guys feel about tier 0 format. For me personally, I don't dread it. Dragon Rulers was okay. The biggest disadvantage. So the biggest disadvantages are pretty simple. It's, if you're not playing tier 0, your deck's going to get curb stomped by tier 0. Your deck feels so underpowered and you're so overwhelmed from this whole thing that just poops on you constantly. And you're like, fuck that shit. And Pokemon even has that with Mega Rayquaza. And it's Mega Rayquaza comes in, you're like, fuck me! Or Mega Salamence, fuck me! And it's if you don't have the mons ready for it, you're going to get just destroyed. And it's kind of the same thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, when Dragon Rulers were a thing, and yes, they're still the dumbest freaking, in my opinion, it's the dumbest, card design to date. Because it's, so mindless. It's oh, Banish 2, bring it out. And all you're playing is resource game, and when you have stuff like Light Sword, it makes it really, really easy to put it in there. It's just take your deck, put it in the graveyard, and make a play. And I don't mean to insult anyone who really liked Dragon Rulers. I didn't really care for them. Maybe you did. I love Teledad, but maybe you hated Teledad. I felt Teledad with unerrated Crush Card and hashtag free fucking Stratos. I'm saying fucking Stratos. Free fucking Stratos. I mean, it was great. And that's a joke about the Stratos thing. I don't think it should ever come back, to be fair. It's not because it's broken. Hello, it's here in the OCG, but again, different topic for a different day. Nailing that point home, though. Honestly, I'm still surprised we didn't get a tier 0 format, and if we were to get a tier 0 format, I figured it'd be Cosmos or Monarchs, and we didn't get either, and I was just kind of stupefied. I'm just what the hell's going on here? This doesn't add up. This does not add up with the time frame that says 2008 gives us Teledad, and then 2012 gives us Dragon Rulers, and 2016 doesn't give us anything that's tier 0, unless we count that Performer Pal deck that was a thing for 3 weeks. Ooh, Konami. Konami. I mean, in all honesty, sometimes I feel in a tier 0 format, it's a disadvantage that a lot of the, I guess, soon-to-be broken stuff kind of just gets, tossed to the side. No one realizes it until afterwards. And I know Konami's been a lot better, I'm going to say that loosely, with dealing with problematic cards. Because, to be fair, you would have to usually wait 6 months to get the shit fixed, especially during Teledad. And OCG was pretty much the one who made the list. And there was, no emergency ban list outside of 1 or 2 times. And it was pretty much unheard of. So, I was a little more grateful when Konami took over the reins, separated for that part, but not really anything else. I mean, for a tier 0 format, it sucks if you're not playing the deck. If you are playing the deck, yay! And it sucks for us Yu-Gi tubers because it's when you go to post out a tournament, what is it going to be? The same exact deck it was last time, outside of 1 or 2 cards, and it gets really boring. And it's hard to like make profiles in that kind of like format because you're just like, this shit again. My deck can't compete with this shit. Toss it to the side. Don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if everyone feels that way. I feel that way sometimes. I'm just like, I don't want to play against this shit no more. If I could not see it again, I'd be happy as fuck. To be completely fair. Let me also say, tomorrow, Tech Tuesday will be out, of course. But the Kaiju Greydell deck that has been in the works, and I went 16-4 with, I'm being honest, was it 16? Yeah, it was 16-4. My 4 losses were 2 to my own stupidity because I was half asleep. Don't duel when you're half asleep. And the other one was Blue Eyes and Blue Eyes because Spirit Dragon just wrecks the shit out of the fucking deck. To be fair, especially when you don't draw a fucking kaiju on a simulator that doesn't want to give it to you. But I'm not salty. I'm just saying. So anyway, I just want to say thank you guys as always for subscribing to the channel. I know it's kind of a thing on YouTube that people are just like, oh yeah, thanks for subscribing to me. I honestly mean it. You guys have like helped me evolve as a person, to be fair, and I just can't fucking wait to like release the fucking doors and just be like, here is hashtag Brigade Rises. This is what it means, and I've been told by a label not to say anything outside of Brigade Rises till next year because it's still all in the works. But that's the only clue you get. Till next week, I'm ready for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. I'll see you for coffee time, but I'll see you tomorrow for deck profile and what's a Tech Tuesday? It's a Tech Tuesday. Anyway, thanks you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one as always.